the show. It's me again, your host Jethro, and Gabe's topic for today will be what the most important investment entrepreneurs need to make right now. Again, thank you everybody for tuning in, and as always, enjoy the show. Good morning, everybody.
There was always a ton to learn. Good morning. Hope you're doing well today. And I just want to say that I am grateful that I get to start almost every morning like this with just sharing my thoughts, what I've learned, and just sharing this time with you. So I appreciate that you're taking time to tune in. And as always, just drop your comments or questions down below. Myself or one of the team will be glad to answer those. And if you ever need any support with your marketing, you can go to businessmarketingengine.com. We'd be glad to help you and see how we can best serve you. And just like Jethro said, we're going to talk about what I believe is the most important investment entrepreneurs need to make right now. And not only right now, but I think that this is an enduring investment that, that should be paid attention to and that should be made on a continual basis. Because if we're really solid and healthy as far as entrepreneurs, as far as who we are, then we have the ability to really serve our teams, to serve our clients, and to change the world around us. And I'm going to ask before I get into the content here that you just take a minute and be really open-minded. Just set aside your other beliefs, other things that you think about this, and just come at this with a fresh perspective and with an open learner's, mind and heart. Because I know that when I do that, I pick up and learn things from even folks that maybe I don't agree with them on everything, or maybe I don't have the same experiences as them. But when I just come into a situation with a really open mind, it helps me see new things that I can grow and improve in. And so that's what I want to ask you to do today, is just be open-minded as we jump into this, because you've probably heard some of this, but I'm going to ask you just to hear it with new ears and just with a new perspective. And so I believe as entrepreneurs, the most important thing that we need to focus on, and I'm going to go through three that I think are really critical, but the most important thing that we need to focus on from an investment standpoint is investing in our own self-care. And it's really important to realize that our businesses, especially in their early stages, and so many of us are early stage entrepreneurs that maybe you haven't made six figures yet. That's okay as an entrepreneur. Maybe you haven't made seven figures, or maybe you haven't made eight. But even up into that eight-figure range, you're still in a lot of senses like an early stage business. You're not a multi-billion-dollar corporation. And because of that, as the entrepreneur, as the leader, as the founder in your company, you are one of the biggest assets the company has. And so if you're not taking great care of yourself, then you're shorting yourself, your team, the clients, and you're shorting the world around you. You're not giving them the best of yourself. And so self-care is just such a critical part of us being successful as entrepreneurs. And for me, the things that I look at are, first, I look at my mindset from a self-care standpoint. Am I taking time to meditate, so that I can just, practice being quiet, practice, taking time to be present and just set aside everything else that's going on. And doing that for, 10, 15 minutes every day is one of the things that helps me just really feel centered and grounded, and then be able to show up in a positive and proactive way. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that in a couple of minutes here. But mindset is such a huge thing. And there's so many ways to practice that, through meditation, through prayer, through, taking, a nice, quiet walk, just really setting aside that time to work on yourself and give yourself peace, and just presence for yourself is absolutely key. The other aspect of self-care, very related, is our physical health. If we don't take great care of ourselves physically, then it means we're going to miss out on time and opportunities where we can serve our team, serve our clients. And, obviously the last couple of years here, we've all seen a lot of sickness and a lot of challenges on the physical front. And interestingly, and fortunately surprising to me, I read on the CDC's website that, the folks that were most affected by the pandemic were those that were obese, and on top of being elderly. And so we have the ability to control how much we eat, how we exercise, what we do. And as entrepreneurs, I believe it's important to go after our physical health with the same tenacity, the same drive as we do our business goals and ideas, because I've seen entrepreneurs, and business owners get sick, be out for a few weeks or a few months, and their business disappears. It's because they're too early stage in their business to have all their other systems and things set up. They're not in a position where it can operate without them. And so just if you think about running and winning this race as an entrepreneur, you are the race car, you are, the racehorse, whatever analogy you want to use there. And so if you're not taking great care of yourself, then you're shorting yourself and you're shorting everybody around you the opportunity to really grow and succeed. And so investing in physical health doesn't have to be this crazy extreme thing that you do. For me, I simply, wake up, drink a big glass of water, make sure I stay super hydrated throughout the day, but I start my day that way so I can just set off, in the right direction. And then I just take a half-hour walk and do some push-ups and do some very light exercise. I'm not that intense about what I do, but I'm really consistent with it. And so that's what I would encourage you to do is, start by drinking more water. Get out and take a walk every single day. 20, 30 minutes of a walk every single day will make a massive difference in, your health. And then pay attention to what you're putting into your body. One of the simplest ways to improve your health is just start to pay attention to what you're putting in. Input always equals output in all areas of life. And so paying attention to what you eat, being intentional about that is definitely something that I would encourage you to do. And the third thing around self-care, because this is all kind of in that bucket for me, is choosing intentional positive adversity. And so for me, what that looks like is I every morning go in my cold plunge tub. It's usually 43 to 45 degrees, which is pretty cold. Especially it's really cold when it's like 15, 20 degrees outside, or even 5 or 10 degrees. It's really cold. But that not only helps me from a physical standpoint, from my experience, it's been really helpful for me. But I really like the mental aspect of having to be fully present, having to experience a little bit of discomfort, and just knowing that if I can go through that for 3 or 4 or 5 minutes each morning, being in a lot of discomfort, if I can go through that discomfort early in my day, then there's really nothing else that's going to come up that's going to be as intense feeling as that. And so that just touches on a few of the things that I do for self-care. I also do breath work, which I really enjoy. But my whole point is find things that work for you, that are improving your health, that are improving your mindset, that are introducing some positive, healthy adversity, because healthy adversity makes us stronger in the long run. And make sure that self-care is your priority one investment as an entrepreneur. Because without that, like I said already multiple times here, you're not going to be able to grow a business successfully if you're dealing with stress and sickness and health issues, and you're not taking great care of yourself. It's going to put you in a state where you can't really perform at your best. So that's the first thing. But if you make that investment, then the second thing I would encourage you to invest in, number 2, would be really invest in your ability to be responsive instead of reactive. And what I touched on a minute ago, that's really helped me on that front is cold plunging helps me learn to be, responsive and not reactive. And it helps me slow down and calm down and learn to manage my feelings, manage my emotions, manage how, my discomfort, and think before I respond. And you can also achieve that state of, responsive behavior through meditation, through journaling, through just getting to your mind to a place where you realize that you don't have to respond to everything. You don't have to comment back on everything that's said, about you. You don't have to engage on the things on social media that fire you up. You don't even have to read the news every day. There's a lot of things that you don't have to do that if you start to eliminate and you're just intentional about the input that you give yourself, then you're going to be in a position where you can be responsive instead of reactive. And operating from a responsive standpoint means that you can be thoughtful and respond with kindness and grace and firm direction for a client or for a team member. It means that you can listen first and just really contemplate, do I need to say something, or am I just here to hold space for this person and make their day better by just giving them that opportunity to be heard. But it's really something that if we invest in that skill set of being responsive and, instead of just reacting to everything, we're going to get such better results, because reactivity in so many cases causes trauma to other people around us, causes trauma to ourselves. And if we're constantly creating trauma for our team, for our clients, for our family, then they're never going to know which version of you they're going to be dealing with. And if you're not taking care of yourself, which is why I said self-care is the first investment, and then that puts you in a reactive state, you're going to, really, cause folks around you to be scared of you at some level. They're going to be intimidated by how you're going to react, or they're going to be not sure which version they're going to get of you, the really emotional one or the crazy one, or there's a lot of different personalities that can come out while we're under pressure. But if we do take great care of ourselves, and then we practice the skill and the art of being responsive and coming from a place of neutrality and peace, then our team is going to be able to trust us. Our clients are going to trust us. And it's just going to help everything expand, because we're not just bouncing around, reacting to the things around us. We become the proactive, responsive energy that fills the room, fills the space, and fills our business. And so it's just really, really key to be aware of that. And the third investment I would encourage you to make is invest in creating systems and processes that allow you to be lean and adaptive, and be able to really change very quickly. Because in the world we live in, this is not new, but it always feels like it's new. But this isn't new compared to decades ago. But especially as entrepreneurs, and as technology just speeds up even more, the world changes very quickly. Like it doesn't matter, you're listening to this live, or you hear this in, 2 years from now on my podcast, when you listen to this again, you're going to look out and go, man, there's some crazy stuff going on in the world. That's a normal thing. But what does happen is some of those things will impact our business, and then we have to make a change or an adjustment. And if we're not agile and lean, and we don't have the ability to have really adaptive, responsive teams and structures, then we can get caught in those types of situations and not be able to adapt and change. When I think about looking back over the last couple of years with what happened in the pandemic, the restaurants that were super successful very quickly made a pivot and said, you know what, we're going to be the best there is at takeout. And because there was a period in a lot of places, not everywhere, but there was a period in a lot of places where restaurants were completely shut down and you couldn't dine in, you couldn't eat there. But the really, the entrepreneurial, adaptive restaurant owners and companies were like, you know what, we're going to do the best takeout business there is. And they were able to not only survive, but in a lot of cases thrive. There's some restaurants in my area that didn't go back to having, dine-in seating, because they were doing so much better with takeout, and they just really expanded there. That's an adaptive, lean, creative mindset that we need to continue to invest in and cultivate, because everything you're doing today as an entrepreneur could be completely changed tomorrow. There could be a big technology innovation that changes what you're doing. There could be a world event that you don't expect. There could be, something political, or, something that happens environmentally around you. There's all these challenges that we can't see in the future, but what we can do is continue to invest in and develop our skill in being able to be adaptive and creative and change, and be able to just have flexible teams and a flexible mindset and approach. And so I would encourage you just to really think through those things. Those are 3 investments that I would just strongly encourage you to make. One, and priority one, absolutely, is your self-care. Just take great care of yourself. Keep building in things that help you get more sleep, drink more water, get healthy exercise, take good care of yourself diet-wise, and build in a healthy level of positive adversity on a daily basis. The second thing is continually to focus on investing how you can be responsive instead of reactive. One of the things that helps me that I forgot to mention a moment ago was I study Stoicism. So there's a book that I would encourage you to check out. It's called The Daily Stoic. It just has little daily devotionals and meditations that you can focus on that will help you just get grounded and operate from a place of responsiveness instead of reactiveness. And then the third thing, like we said, just to recap here, is make sure that you're investing in things that will allow you to be adaptive and lean and creative, and be able to just change as circumstances change around you. When you're able to do those things on a consistent basis, and you invest in those 3 areas consistently, I'm confident that's going to help you grow your business. And so I would just encourage you to be aware of those things and prioritize those in your schedule. Block out time to take care of yourself. Block out time to meditate and think about how you can come from a responsive and neutral place, and block out time to evaluate your business units and your products and see how adaptive and, creative and lean you can be in those. So hopefully that's useful to you. Appreciate everyone tuning in today, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.